So far I'm here with Mountains and Menace. How you doing, fellas?
Hey! Good.
So, when did you start your band?
I'd say about 8 or 9 years ago. I'm not sure, really. I'm not really good with that type of thing. Yeah, I'd say about.
If you said 10 years, we'd believe it.
Yeah, I don't think it's been 10, but
It's quite 10.
no, approximately. When you get this age, just the years go past. You don't know.
Yeah, 10 years would be. I wasn't in that band back then, but it's about 10 years. I'm sure.
How long have you been in the band for then?
What comes after that many? I don't know. 4, 5?
4, 5.
Oh, hang on, 27. 5 years, I think. 5 years for me. I'm on my P plates.
I'm working on my mic technique at the moment. We're fresh out of Glenorchy though, and it must have been, I'm saying 9 years.
So how did it all started with Mountains and Menace?
Well, myself and our former drummer, who has actually sadly passed away, so R.I.P. Mick, if you're everyone out there. So we were just jamming and together, and then we met Adrian, and Adrian over here, and
We were at a gig. What gig were we at?
yeah, a friend of ours, Marty. Hey, Marty. He introduced us and said he was looking for a drummer and a guitarist, and he had some songs written, and we had some songs written, so we just basically joined forces.
And it was hilarious because the music we wrote, like Baz and Mick's stuff was one way and mine was completely different. And I played them my stuff and they liked some of it but not all of it. They were like, maybe not. Anyhow, so I changed my writing style pretty quickly because it was like, oh, these guys can play. That's pretty handy. So then we just started. So our first recording was pretty much like half my stuff, half Baz and Mick's stuff, sort of some of it sort of together. But from then on, it's sort of been all put together by all of us, I think would be a fair way to describe it.
How do you put a song together?
Well, there's various ways, but they all end up coming together. Sometimes maybe I'll have or any of us could have a bit of an idea and nut it out a bit on the guitar at home, and then we generally get together and share the idea, and we all work on it from there. So we're all pretty easy going with that type of thing. We generally, have the same mind and just make it happen. Really, we just see what ideas pop up from, what we bring forward, and take it from there.
Rode microphone. Like it. Being a drummer, of course, if you look around the room, you'll see a couple of twang sticks which are not actually belong to Barry or Adrian. So I rarely get on one and pretend I know what I'm half doing. And it generally all turns to custard pretty quick. But occasionally I come out with half a riff that you then might develop into quarter of a riff of another part of an eighth of a song, which becomes a 16th of 2 parts of 5/8 of stuff all of a song. So I might have put half a note into that song as a twang stick player.
So if you listen to some of our music, if you want to delve into where are we, Spotify and Bandcamp and stuff, there's some songs on our new album that we've just put out which are an interesting collaboration of how we did it. There's that song that Bert wrote the riffs for that we played around with, and we didn't even know if we wanted to record it because I wrote some, you wrote some. I knew what the vocals could be in my head, but then we didn't really, like the other guys didn't know it. We weren't really sure, but it actually came out pretty cool on the album. But when people hear it, they don't hear what we've been through on the rehearsal room floor going, no, that sounds like we've just bolted that together, and no, that's not quite right. There's a song, and that song is called My Old Friend.
Yes.
So look that up and tell us if you think that sounds like 3 songs bolted together. I went to the toilet halfway through rehearsal due to my small bladder and maybe beer consumption.
Did you do a download?
Maybe. And Baz was just playing a riff, and I just came out of the bathroom and I just thought, that is just like the most crushing riff I've ever heard in my life.
Pants were up all the way.
Pants were up. And
Finished in there.
yeah, I'd finished. And I just went, that's got to go with that heart attack thing. We've got to try and make a place to fit it in. the verse riff I'd written I'd had for like 10 years or something, and gone, at some point I'll do something with that, and it came together, and it's my favourite track on the album, to be honest. So, and that was like, that took ages.
I remember when, because obviously I wasn't the original inception of that riff, but when Baz played it, it was like, you mean you sat on this for this long? This is kind of cool. But the excitement that came out of him, not in the toilet afterwards, when he came out of the toilet, was enough for us to go, oh, okay, this is a thing. We can do something with this.
And when we were recording it in the studio with Joe Haley from Psychroptic, who's like awesome, when we recorded it, we got to that the chorus bit, which is the original thing we worked on, and he was like, oh man, that is like super heavy. So it took some time, but we found our way with that one. That took ages. Other songs like Unleash the Beast, Baz wrote most of that, and that happened in like no time at all. That was like one rehearsal and, yep, it's all done sort of thing. There's a very long answer.
Yes, it is. So, what was the first time you had that song called Unleash the Beast?
I decided I wanted to do something a little more up-tempo for a bit of a chat. A lot of our stuff was quite slow, so I did, decide I'm going to try and do something a little more up-tempo, and had most of the guitar riffs ready to go. It was just one of those songs, like we said before, it took to band practice, and we have a bit of a bash at it, and I basically said, I imagine it goes this way or that way, but really not too fast. And then Adrian goes home, and he generally comes up with the lyrics and choruses and how the singing goes to the music. He generally takes that home and comes up with, and it was completely different to how I imagined it. I had it in my head a little way, which I didn't really like that much anyway. But yeah, what he did was it went its own way, and that was that. It was just come together quite quickly, and it was just most of the music was basically put forward already, and then the singing, and the lyrics all just sort of just fit into place, and come together really quickly.
Do you want to do it
No,
together?
you go.
You want to do it together?
No.
Like endless love. I remember when Baz had the riff, and as soon as we played what become the chorus, a half time that, and there's the people talk about, you got the hairs in the back of your neck, stand up sort of thing. It was like, I can lay into this. This has got a bit of something happening. And then you look around, and there's a lot of facial expressions going in this band, and a lot that are probably unnecessary, but it's funny. But at that point, you turn around and all three of us are going, riff, riff. And it just got better.
It did. And vocally wise, I just normally go away, and with that one, I think I was riding my bike, because I ride my push bike all the time, and I'd think about that sort of stuff most of the time when I'm on my bike. And I kept coming up with the Unleash the Beast chorus thing together and kept trying to talk myself out of it. Unleash the Beast was a segment on a very short-lived show on television called Jono and Dano, and they had a segment called Unleash the Beast, and he had like a plastic Viking thing on his head. And it just, for me, with my lyrics and everything, it's more about how I don't want to sound like Gene Simmons, but this is what he does. It's just what he thinks sounds right, which is why most of his lyrics are terrible and why most of mine are terrible as well. But there's Unleash the Beast, it's not about really very much at all. We just make it up, and it's all very stupid, but it's pretty funny.
Okay, well, I can run you through the amp aspect of it. So it's actually pretty old school sort of technology, really. It's an old, that's a valve amp, like bands would have used in the 60s and 70s. But so that's same type of thing there. But we're probably running through some of this stuff too. Like this is a fuzz pedal here and a wah pedal. That's no difference to a Jimi Hendrix or something like that would have used an overdrive pedal here and a phase. So they all have that's a tuner, So that's pretty handy when you're on stage. You can sort of
that's true, yeah.
It blocks out the rest of the blocks out your input, and you can just see the tuning and
because you got a lot of different wires to put in there.
yeah, that's right. And there's a power supply powering everything on there, and Yeah, it's just a wah pedal,
Nice.
a fuzz pedal,
Yep.
an overdrive pedal, and a phase pedal, and they pretty much.
That's pretty cool, man.
It's all pretty basic things, but it's when you combine them in the right sort of combinations, and yeah, it gets a pretty unique sound, but also a pretty traditional sort of. So it's very basic sort of stuff for this type of music, I guess.
So when you hook up your electric guitar, what type of chords do you use?
So this is my. Okay, if I'll grab this.
Careful, mate.
This is my bass guitar. That's a Ernie Ball Stingray, and so I've got a pretty basic setup for me.
Yeah.
Sort of like Baz, but even more basic than that. So I've just got my bass guitar and the lead coming out of here, and then this is just going straight into my amp, and this is a tube thing. Like people would have used this in the 70s as well. This is a old school Mat amp. This is made in the United Kingdom.
United Kingdom.
Yeah, man, from a long way away. Long way away.
Hey, governor.
And the best thing about it is it actually just sounds like the end of the world when you turn it up, because we've got there's lots of dials on here to change the sound around. The main thing with this one is it's got a drive thing, and if you just want to hold the microphone, I'll show you how the drive thing works.
Sure.
So this is like with like not much drive.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty loud.
Nice.
So that's not much drive. It sounds pretty clean.
Yeah.
But then you can do this.
All right.
And this sounds like Fuzzmageddon. Yes.
Excellent. I can feel the ground shaking.
You know the Mabaraz?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby. Get in there.
I don't know what to do, man.
Oh yeah. Feel that and feel that like, and then we turn it up.
Yeah.
How loud is that?
Right. So, what type of drums you use?
Normally, I'd use acoustic drums.
Oh yeah.
And I always swore that I would never own an electric kit.
Oh yeah.
But here I am with an electric kit. Reason being, when it comes to rehearsals,
Yeah.
turn it down.
Oh yeah.
If we're writing stuff,
Yeah.
it's good that we can actually talk over the top and say, yeah, back to that riff or whatever.
yeah.
So as much as technology is there with
Yeah.
that and sounds, which we'll go through on a tick,
Yep.
you still have to use one common denominator. Sticks.
Drumsticks, definitely. That is true. That is true. Every single drummer had to use drumsticks.
Then you've got stadium drums.
Yep.
Then it's what I like to call rap.
Oh yeah. With Adam in the house.
Yo.
Oh yeah.
Yo. I'm David.
is here. He's an in bear. We're drinking beer.
Yo.
Oh yeah.
Yo, I'm back. Here we go now. It's the slam here, and then now. Don't forget if you more typing.
Yeah!
Come on.
Good. Unleash the beast! Unleash the beast! Unleash the beast! Unleash the beast! The beast! Unleash 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 the beast!
How's that feel, Adam?
Yeah. They're done. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Peace. Bye.
Now that's a sign up.
Alright, thank you very much for watching. And thank you for Mountainous for having me here. And like and subscribe and check out that band. Also, this is probably the best night I ever had. Yeah. Booyah, bitch.